All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey,
Good
guys.
afternoon. Good evening. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Maybe.
That's true.
Maybe. If it's anybody's morning, that's impressive because you'd probably be somewhere in the Pacific. If that's the case, I don't even know. But welcome to our fantastic guests. We sucked them in. Demian and Ash are on the XD team. I don't know if you guys can just kind of tell us kind of what you guys do for XD, and then we'll work on prying out the appropriate information out of you.
Sounds very honest.
I know,
Sure.
like, show us something that we shouldn't see.
We have a lot to
because
show,
we're
yeah.
like, you're connected to the live world out there, so this is kind of
No
exciting for
take-backsies.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot. Yeah.
But
so
yeah.
Can we start?
Yeah.
Sure. So,
first.
hello, I am Ash Huang. I am working on the Adobe XD team as a senior experience designer. I work on all sorts of things from how certain buttons should look to strategy on what we should be building in the first place, working a lot with PMs and engineers. It's a very close, fun team to design for. So,
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Demian Borba. I was one of the first product managers on XD since the very beginning in 2015. My God, that was a long time ago. Almost
Time
3 years
flies,
in the
man.
making. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I work with key customers to bring all that feedback back to the product team. So still really connected to that and making sure everything is validated, everything is tested, and going from there.
Yeah, that's really cool and awesome for you to be here because essentially we're interacting with
Yeah.
with customers, potential customers, just everybody that we're trying to like get this basically in their hands.
Yeah, that'll be awesome
And,
to see questions pop up.
Yeah, like this is your chance to talk directly to the team. So thank you. So Anit, Laura, Michael, Melissa, Abid, Tim, good to have you guys here. So I guess this afternoon, at least for us, we'll just kind of do a little. We can take this any direction we want to go. Essentially, this could be a Q&A. Again, I want to know the latest about things. Like I feel like you guys launch, put features in, and then I see this update button, and then I have something I wasn't even expecting, which is awesome. So I typically, anytime I feel like saying no about something, I'm like, that could change tomorrow as far as I know. So you guys are basically like doing some rapid development, I feel like.
Yeah, we can show a lot. We can show what we did this week with XD2.
Yes.
Our November update. We can maybe even show XD3.
Yeah. Hey, whatever you want to show us, we're game for. And even little things that people might overlook, because I didn't know, say for instance, when you save colors, that actually can be a gradient as well. So like just little things, when you update that gradient, it'll update in all of the
Using the asset
instances,
panel, yeah.
which is really cool. So little things that I've even overlooked. So, and by the way, what we actually have for everyone. So Eric and Nazar's actually submitted one, but we have a little contest for everybody too.
Nice.
So we'll just kind of tell you about that right now. Essentially, the goal is for you, the audience, to make a prototype around. The theme is basically flowers today.
Oh, flowers.
Yeah,
That's public
so
transportation. Yes,
it was,
maybe.
yeah, exactly. Today's kind of a little more. It's actually super fun. So it's been really feel good today. It's been like delivering flowers, and it's just been really warm and fuzzy and awesome. Because obviously the assets have been different. So just link a minimum of 3 screens together, and basically, essentially you will publish that. And in the contest tab, you should be on behance.net/live. That contest tab is where you'll go to the bit.ly to basically submit the URL from your published prototype. So we'll review those. That'll be kind of fun, kind of get you guys' opinion on what you think of what gets submitted. And we'll give away Creative Cloud. We'll give away some other limited edition prints. And might I add, and what is this little box?
Yeah, just
where's this?
brought this. We have,
Look at this. They come bearing gifts.
so the social team created
I
these
love
little
this.
things. If I can open this box. And we have 2 here to give away. So this is an XD stencil kit. I don't know
Okay.
if you can see it, but we have
What is this?
oh dang,
yeah,
that's
Shiny.
shiny. Yeah, I was like,
It is, right? It's almost blinding.
look at the
oh, these pencils are amazing.
Fail faster, yeah. And then these, let's get in on that. I mean, I just love all these little We should be using this like over the course of like, look at these. I love all these little,
Oh
if
my
you guys can
God.
see these little
For
icons.
icons. It's like wireframing, like it was like,
Mhm.
I think 1982. Yeah, that's what it says.
You guys
right
see
there.
this?
They
See
have
this, Johnny?
stickers.
See this, everybody? See, this is pretty cool. This whole little kit. It's pretty fancy. So essentially, this is what we'll give away. We have a couple of gifts here.
That's
to
me.
Yeah, hello.
Real close.
And we're like up close and personal. Not only is it live, we can.
That's very shiny.
Yeah, and he has the
This guy's
XD.
the fancy
look.
pencil.
Remember that?
Ooh.
This is like my high school.
It's pretty awesome. You know, and we've had other UX, UI designers here. We actually could have used that the past couple days, now that I think about it. This would have been fun to kind of... Because we've been, like, sketching and doing different things. We've done some stuff on, like, the iPad and everything. So, either way, it's going to be for someone. Oh, and by the way, the socks have been a huge hit.
Oh, nice.
Oh, socks.
Yeah,
Now
they've been
they made
going
it-
fast. We've literally just had to result to just giving one sock away per
Just
person.
a single sock.
We've just been, everybody trying to give away sock. We're calling them sock puppets. We just give one away at a time. And then they get
Oh, I
sent
see
back to us.
there.
No, I wanted the left one, not the right. So I'm making bad jokes. Stop me, guys. All right, so nonetheless, this is going to be cool, guys. I see some things on your screen and all
Yeah.
this. So by all means, guys, hopefully you guys are excited about some of these gifts. We'll give some things away. And there's also the chance to enter the contest.
So how about I start with the 2.0 announcement and just go
Yeah.
over the features a little bit. Then we talk about design, Adobe in general, and if we have time in the end, we show XD 3.0.
Yeah,
Our
that sounds
December
awesome.
release.
I'm excited.
All right, so yesterday we announced XD2, our November update, and the first thing you can notice right there is, I remember when I was working with the marketing team, they were asking, can you send me a splash screen for XD? I was like, what do you mean? Because we don't even need a splash screen because it
Mhm.
opens that fast.
Yeah.
So XD doesn't have one. Performance is
Mhm.
a very big thing for us, and we're really obsessed with performance and quality. Here I have one file where I use this for the lab that I did at Max on design thinking using XD. So I did my presentation in XD. So all my slides are here, and I created a link so people could follow, give me feedback as I was presenting it. And also up here, it's where everything starts in XD. So starting design thinking with a design challenge. This app there was, how could we create an app to help people trade knowledge? Not money, not everything, like just knowledge. So I went out, empathy, questions. I know one of the biggest problems in design thinking today is the physical post-it, right? Because once it's done,
Mhm.
it's very hard to document that and all that. So what I did is I created a symbol. And
Okay.
as you know, in XD, you can override text
Mm.
and you can have multiple ones.
And how are you overwriting that text?
If you have anything in XD, to select it, of course, you can double click to drill down and get to that element,
Uh-huh.
or you can hold command click
And then
to
you click.
direct select that element. And then if you hit
Okay.
enter, you can start editing it.
Okay, gotcha.
It's if you need pink post-its instead of yellow ones.
There we go.
Finish.
There are many different colors.
Change them all at once.
Yeah. But
No
what?
sweat.
And then I did the empathy map. So what is cool here is, like, for example, one of the things that I always show is this guy. When I did the personas, this is a symbol. So I have them here via asset panel,
Mm-hmm.
and I have two instances. And as you know, you can override text.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have images there somewhere, where is it? Images in Finder, you can override that bitmap. So I'm overriding text and bitmaps, but if I change the structure of the symbol, it updates everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good way for you to kind of reuse symbols, and that's what I did for the personas.
This looks like Caesar's asking if it's a built-in symbol or just in that project.
No, I created a symbol just for this project. Yeah.
So that stays with the project. I guess one way to execute that is, like, you could always have a Creative Cloud library of stuff that you use a lot.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
To there.
And as of now, via Creative Cloud libraries, you can bring colors, character styles, and bitmaps. But in like very, very soon we'll
Mhm.
be able to do vectors as well. So
Okay.
in this case, this will be more like a vector component, and then you
Mhm.
can do that in Illustrator, add to your library, drag to XD, and if you change it in Illustrator, it'll update in XD.
Yes, that's
so
so cool.
that's coming soon.
Yeah, that's, no, that's good.
Another thing that I had here was the ability to drag. Let's say I want to create this mood board, right? So I created a bunch of shapes, very simple shapes. And if I have here my browser open and I go to stock.adobe.com and let's search for flowers, right? Flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers. Anything that's in a browser, I can drag from the browser to XD and it becomes the shape of
what? People are probably like, I
Maybe-
wish I knew this morning. You know? Because I don't even think we were doing this. We were kind of
really?
syncing. Well, again, we were just like using Creative Cloud libraries and like syncing to the library, which I was amazed how fast that was. But this is even better. Just click and drag and
for the mood board. Yeah, it's not
For
like
the-
licensing or anything.
yeah,
This
exactly.
is just like
and that's a good. Thank you for bringing up that point.
you're
Yeah.
bringing the bitmap as it is to XD.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you can do is like another big problem is in design thinking you get lots of ideas, right? So in a little over 1 hour, we were able to get to 96 ideas for this app, a group of 4 people, and I have them here in this text file
96 ideas
for this problem, like trade knowledge, the design thinking
Okay.
challenge that we had there. And then I have all of them here. One idea I enter, another idea I enter, so no formats at all. And then I can use the famous repeat grid here to create more post-its. And drag it all there. If I need to adjust padding to fit my square grid there. Super easy and nice. But now you remember I could override text, right?
Mhm.
In symbols, I can do that with this text file
Mm-hmm.
as well in my repeat grid if I can drag there. So now I have my 96 ideas here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can, for example, select these 3 artboards, and if I can get there.
Oh, hey, Chris. I think we need to zoom out a little bit on his screen because I zoomed in on it.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
That was my fault.
Oh, no
we were
problem.
zooming in earlier.
What I did here is selected the artboards, and I can, let's say I want to document the ideas, I can hit Command D to,
Yeah.
that's
And
her
then we'll
screen now. Yeah,
Switch to Damien's.
No spoilers.
Should be
Yeah.
like the. Yeah, there we go.
we're doing it
And then-
live.
Yeah, that needs to
I
be
can
just
do-
shrunk down to
I
like
can do that. So
20% or whatever it was.
what I did here is that I selected the artboards and I'm trying to document this, so I can export this, for example, as a PDF. And then I can get one single PDF with all these artboards, so it's a good way to document.
Oh, okay. So you just selected those 3 artboards, and now they're like 3 pages in a PDF.
In one PDF, yeah.
Which is
So-
very cool, and this is exactly what I love seeing right now are all these like pro tips.
yeah.
Like seriously, like everything you just did, and you're doing it so fast. It's, of course, Ash, you're like, you kind of want to change the color of the yellow post-it to something else. Being the designer,
Yellow is the classic, though. I can't
yellow
mess
is
with the
classic.
classic.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I know.
everybody's like, can you just do a little bit of a gradient? It's like a lighter yellow to a little darker, and you could.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
just
that.
saying.
Could.
Let's do that.
No border.
We've been doing
border.
lots of gradients today. Like, this is
So
I
very-
mean, how can you not?
like a little, you know how, like even the shadows, a little bit of a shadow. We can, sorry.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
We
you
just
can
end up
see-
designing
How
one
about that?
post-it
Here.
for an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
this is
This-
gonna be the whole stream.
This is gonna be the whole stream. This is like
Like that?
getting the right gradient.
Or more like...
Yeah, I like it. I just like the, the sort of, again, the highlight on the,
Cool.
here's our,
Awesome. All right.
anyway. I digress.
Not,
So it looks like do you plan to have some sort of A/B testing for designs? Or
that
do
like
you
the
do-
user testing part of XD is of this workflow is really a big thing for us, and we're doing a lot of investigations and research there. But we still need to finish and make sure all the features on design, prototyping are there. Then we're gonna get into the user testing scene like a lot more strong, a lot more. And what you can do now is, as if you have your phone plugged, and I'll show this in a bit. As soon as you have your design or prototype running on the phone, you can unplug the phone and that content gets cached on the phone. So you can do like
you
user
take it-
testing
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
right there on the phone.
And like kind of what was new to me, I was always used to just like plugging it in, but you can actually like put the file in Creative Cloud Files
Yes,
and then take it
yes.
with you that way too.
Yeah.
So
For example, the USB live preview is only available for Mac. We're still doing the work to make it work on Windows, and there's like a platform limitation there. But if you're on Windows and you need that, you can use Creative Cloud Files, place your files there, and load from your mobile device. The only caveat there is that the fonts are not transferred to the device.
Yeah.
They only go via USB because of legal reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot host the fonts in the cloud, but
Yeah.
you can do a lot there. Here I did a sitemap, so again using symbols, and I just want to show that I got this guy here
That's a good question.
via file get UI kits wireframe. So this is an awesome resource for wireframe. So if you want wireframe, not only UI kits for Apple, Google, and you can get this guy. It has hundreds of assets, and it's just copy and paste and reuse in your project, all for free.
Yeah, I was also showing like we have Illustrator templates of like UI elements as well. Like in Illustrator. So I was like, I was just trying to give people free resources, but this is awesome as well.
Yeah.
It links directly out.
Yeah, this, if you go to File, Get UI Kits, you can get Apple iOS, Google Material Design, and Microsoft Windows, and the one that we have. And these are hosted by the company. So if you go to the Material Design, for example, it takes you to the Google website, and look at the difference in file size.
Tiny.
Nah.
You know, like, so if
everybody wants to say something right. We all want to say something right now, but we're not. This is an exercise in restraint.
we're professional people,
right?
yeah.
We're
We're
professional.
compared to Photoshop.
Is there
Photoshop file's
we
big.
have a 5-second delay? 'Cause I think we're gonna have to do some muting here in a sec. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you care about performance and file size, XD is a great option as well. Just right there.
So awesome. And I think somebody else is asking about that. I knew this would come up in the spirit of free things, since you guys are showing off like all those, like essentially these free resources. Did you post your slides at all from Max?
Yes. If you go to
And Ash, we need to talk about your experience at Max too, by the way. I'm just saying.
I feel like I'm
on stage. Oh, you blanked out? Like you wouldn't know you were actually there doing it
I was like,
unless there was like it was recorded. Because I watched it like a day later and you did fantastic.
Oh, thank
You
you.
did really well. So Ash was also on the big stage.
I feel like
at
you guys are
Max.
rock stars, and I'm like, I'll get there one day. I was like,
No, it's all
I
over
couldn't
work.
even imagine doing that. That was insane, man. Both of you, like 12,000 people looking at you, like
you know, honestly, beyond the first 10 rows, like you can only see so far. But what's funny about this is the first 10 rows are all the people that can fire you. Like, everybody that can fire you is within the first, pretty much as far as the lights will cast. Those are all the people that can fire you. But like once you're past that, you're like, hey, here you are. I hope you enjoy the night or day.
yeah.
And
You guys are
we
pros.
didn't fall or pass out.
That
we
was
didn't
my
lock
nightmare.
our knees.
I'm very clumsy.
And okay.
I was like, I'm just gonna like eat it walking on.
You guys did great.
Like minute one.
Right. But let me ask you, like, as soon as you were up there within the first like 30 seconds, did the nervousness go away, or?
It's funny because for me, when I'm up on stage, I don't know what you do, but like if I'm nervous, I'm just like, I'm just really excited. That's what this feeling is, even though it's like not. But
You just
You
greet,
like,
greet
check
there,
your
like,
body.
hey, nervous, I know you're there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I'm just so jazzed that I'm shaking.
Yeah.
There's no way
So it
back.
usually works.
Sign it.
Yeah.
I'm turning a pale white, like no.
But you had, I think, a bigger challenge because you had to be funny and... like,
No, not only me. Like I gotta make sure the funny guy's funny. That's the big thing.
Oh, yeah, that
like
is a
if
lot
I
of
could just like
pressure.
set him up. That's so. Again, you can watch your what you showed. What did you show off?
I
on Max?
showed Photoshop Sketch on the iPad, which is
Okay.
actually one of my favorite
awesome,
apps. So
yeah.
I was like super
And that's
into
what
that.
we were using to just do sketches earlier. By the way,
Yeah.
before we had the fancy kit, before we bought the fancy kit, we had to use.
You gotta
Sketch.
use that with the pencil.
Yeah,
on the-
yeah.
That's like next level. And some Photoshop brushes stuff, so all the drawing and painting. Showed off some Microsoft things.
Okay. The brushes in Photoshop. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was like a big thing. I mean, like, I feel like that's been something people have been asking for many, many, many years, but it's
and we just
exciting
had to
have
like
it.
hire the guy who makes them all. Is essentially
Oh yeah,
part
well
of it.
Kyle
Like,
Webster, that was really exciting. 'Cause Kyle's brushes are the best.
That
So
was pretty
it's
cool.
great that they're just available to everybody now, and you can just
Yeah.
literally. I think there's a drop down in Photoshop in the brush menu, and so just say get more brushes, and it links to all of them, so you can go and download every single one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, that is really
and they
cool.
just show up in folders. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we needed that. We needed to be able to organize all that stuff. So I know we're going kind of a little bit off of tangent, no, but it's really good. Like, it's really good stuff. Don't worry. And the great thing is, I think somebody mentioned this in here, that you can find these like on YouTube. So not now. Stay with us live. Ask us questions. But even after today, this will be available on YouTube, and you can see all the Adobe Max keynote segments like yours and all that stuff. So
Yeah, we have lots of questions there, right? Like there's
yeah.
There's one there. I can take that one. How do you like Sketch? I really like XD, but I wanted to know what people also like about Sketch. I mean, like, I can like my personal view on this. Like, I have a lot of respect for Sketch and InVision. They did a great job. They got a lot of people. They delivered a lot of value, and we're working super hard here to deliver value. And if we do a good job, people will use XD and all the other tools we're doing. So we're validating. We're using design thinking to do a lot of the validation and investigation. Personally, I don't think this will fail. This is set for success. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, that's what we want you to say, and what we want to hear. It's true.
There's another one about.
It would be different if you didn't believe it, though. You genuinely
yeah.
believe it, and you know people that work for Sketch. Like we know this. I know at least one person there. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're building it for people, and you're trying to make the best decisions based on the feedback you get.
Yeah.
Essentially, like we're trying to make it happen, so you guys use it, which is pretty essential.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
There's another one about third-party plugins for.
Yeah, that's a great question. You can interrupt me anytime if you want to answer. Just
you're doing great.
on the.
We're
I just don't want to be like I'm taking out all the questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the plugins, we are working since like the very beginning on the XDs built with extensibility in mind, right? So as we announced before, we're working with a couple partners like Zeppelin, Avocode to integrate XD, and that's the very, very beginning of this extensibility plan that we have for XD. So in the near future, people will be able to develop plugins for XD, connect with XD, and yeah, that's going to happen.
Okay, no, that's good. That's kind of what you want to hear, and really, yeah, because I feel like there's many different like scenarios where you need to extend XD in some way over other ways. You know, just like you customize Photoshop, you know, you're doing the same thing for XD by adding those plugins in.
And we know that's a big part of like how a tool can be successful, helpful to people. We want to make sure we create a platform and you throw your workflow on top of it, right? We don't want to force workflows or anything like that. Yeah. Do you have any questions that you want to pick there?
Let's see what's on here.
Some people mention, the definition of design thinking, ping icons in XD. I'm kind of curious as to like what's top of mind for what do people want in XD right now? Like
there's a lot.
Top of the list. We can look. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just gonna look in UserVoice, but
Yeah, I think a big one is, I know layout grid is a very big one,
That's out already.
which is out
Oh, yeah, you gotta
and
yeah.
exciting.
by all means,
But
like
yeah.
feel, and maybe
Should
even
we
as you're mentioning
segue
this stuff,
into-
we can kind of show.
Yeah, let's do it. So I don't know if you guys remember, but we worked with Boosted Boards. They used XD to design their new website, a piece of their new website. And initially they had this manually created. So they created the columns as rectangles and they locked them there to be the layout grid, because back then we only had square grids. But as of yesterday, you can select the artboard and activate a layout grid. And you can adjust how many columns you want. Like if it's like Bootstrap, you can do 12. You can also adjust the margins around it. In this case, it's this, but you can have personal ones, you can have like custom ones, you can have things on the top there. And now that you have that layout grid there, every time you design, things will align to that grid, will snap to the grid.
Okay.
So this is a very good way for you to keep things aligned, consistent, and you can activate layout grids in multiple artboards at the same time and change them.
And they can be different per.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can select, like, let's say I want to do 2 here, and I want to. Now they're the same, but now I'm gonna select only this one, and I'll have a lot more columns.
Okay.
So they are different. If you have like a mobile, they had this.
And it remembers your last setting, so all you're doing is just turning it on, right?
Yeah, here you have, for example, 4 columns. You can do more, for the mobile version of their website. So this really helps keep things organized.
No, that's good. And, I think there's also, Courtney mentions the grid feature, which is different. So you have, what do you call it? What is this actually
Square
called?
grid. Yeah, we have layout grid and
Layout
square
grid
grid. Square is
and
the old
square
one
grid.
that's, it's horizontal and vertical.
Okay, yeah.
But let us know what you think. If maybe, do you guys need something more? Do you need horizontal?
It's interesting. So, someone mentions exporting to PSD and exporting to Muse, and sometimes we get importing a PSD, stuff like that. I don't know if you guys want to talk about like the exporting. Like, would you really want to export to a PSD? Is that the right way to go? And I don't like to use the word right.
I think, what's the reason there? What's the goal with that?
So
that would be the first question.
That's what I would ask.
Yeah, exactly. That's your Noradine. Curious as to why you want to go from XD to PSD.
Yeah, because I'm curious if it's an asset cutting thing, if it's like a handoff type thing, or I'm curious what that flow is.
Exactly. Same thing for, I don't know, maybe Muse. So this is what it kind of comes down to. Is like you are Adobe and you have these other apps, and people are like, I want to load it up into Illustrator.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I
don't
do
know.
think that segues into an interesting issue, which is like one of the motivations to use Adobe products is that between the apps, there's kind of this seamlessness, which I think libraries is definitely a first stab at, where it's like, if you update something in there, it'll just automatically update. You don't have to chase it down or anything. And so we're definitely thinking about those issues and like really making it like that's one of the major benefits of using an Adobe product.
We get that a lot. Just like, again, people are used to using maybe Illustrator or Photoshop, at least on these streams. So they're like, okay, are the shortcuts the same? And, how seamless is it going from Photoshop to Illustrator? Or Photoshop to XD. But even going from Photoshop to Illustrator, it's not always seamless either, as well as kind of the
Yeah, if the goal is developer handoff, let's say, for someone to get assets and get measurements and colors and character styles, you for now developers would need to get assets from here, select one thing, export as SVG, and for example, if I have this image here selected, I can go to File, Export. A part of the new thing is you could do PNG, SVG, and PDF, and now you can export JPEG as well. You can set the quality if you want. So assets for now has to go out this way. But if you want to show this to a developer for CSS, for example, as part of our new release, you also have published design specs now as a beta feature available. So if you click there, you can give it a name, and you can create a link. So now it's uploading this to Creative Cloud. In the same way you can get a link for your web prototype, you now have a link to your design specs. So I have to can switch to a different screen very quickly. So
yeah, you can switch to mine because I wanna zoom in on this feature. I don't know if mine's still showing up, but this is kind of what was selected as probably.
Oh, perfect, yeah. And that's part of XD 2.0. So now I'm signed in. Yeah, that's fine. Our login process, yours will be a lot simpler. But now I have this where I can see that design. It's a public link, and any developer can come here, click here, and now inspect. So you can see all the colors that are used in this artboard, all the fonts, character styles, and where they are used. So you can see you can hover, and it shows there.
Is it highlighting it?
For example, the one community there. And then if you select something, you can get, let's see, something that's selected, for example, selectable. I can get distances and measurements and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the font that was used. And
Yeah, so for example,
All
you can
those
this is easier to
fonts.
see, yeah. So developers can extract that information. We don't have asset extraction or CSS information yet here, but that's kind of the next goal for this.
But this is like super exciting. Like this just showed up yesterday. Like, hey, I didn't even know you guys were working on this, and it's like super. I don't know, man. I'm lame in that. Like, it's just like presents. It's like I got some presents. This is free stuff that I was not. And I hate saying no to something because I'm like, it could literally pop up tomorrow because it's happened to me. before. Just like this popped up. You
Just
know?
look meaningful in the camera and be like,
Yeah, like depends on when you're watching this video. What
Yeah.
the answer is.
Another thing that's now available is, for example, if I direct select this guy, you can see this is what we call a point text, meaning that it has this circle here and you can rotate and you can change things, but it's not following any rule for like where it ends or it needs to break. But you can now select that text and switch from point text to area text. So now you can define where things break. And
Yes.
let's do like 20 here, and you can see when it gets to the end, it moves down to.
Again, like another thing, I literally told we literally just had to recreate that text box because we wanted to go from point to.
yeah.
But that feature just.
Another thing that's kind of
popped up
helpful,
and
maybe
you know.
helpful there, is that we remember now the last text setting. So if you add like very specific font, use that as a text tool, and then you go to do a rectangle or anything. If you go back to the text tool, you'll keep that because
Okay.
before it was resetting to.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think Helvetica.
And another thing I like, I don't know if you can show like sort of the copy and paste appearance.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
great.
That's a super good feature.
So if you
Yeah.
select this guy, I can copy, then I can go to any other place. Let's see this one, and I can right click and paste appearance. So that
Yeah.
all the colors, character information goes with it.
Yeah, and it works not just on text; it works on any like shape or.
I would say it's everything that's under appearance here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's a good way to
No,
do
it.
that's okay. It sounds like a dumb, like you asked a dumb question because it's so obvious. Well, yeah, now I feel like an idiot.
No,
Right.
don't say that.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know.
No, don't say
What
that.
I
Now you
also
need it,
love
yeah.
is, and is this a new thing too? But since we're, you can make that a character style in your assets.
Yeah, let me go back to that one that doesn't have anything. So
panel.
here, yeah, the asset panel is really powerful in the sense that, let's say you get this guy here and you want to save this as a character style. So you just add it there. So it's now there. And later on, after the fact, after you finish your design, you can right click here and add it. And let's say you want to make it bigger, and you will find all the instances where that text is used and you will update. So if you want to change a font or anything after you have it created.
I think this
What?
actually, there's some like philosophical relation of this to the text area box of, I don't know, when I'm designing, I don't know if you two run into this where it's like you made a decision or something and retroactively you're like, oh shoot, now I have to go change all of those instances. And like that, it's like if you did point area text and you're like, no, I wanted this to be a text area.
Yes, that's
Versus,
exactly
like,
what happened
yeah.
yesterday morning.
It happens all
Jessica,
the time.
I know. We talked about this. We went over this. I guess you got to recreate that. Sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Or like if you're really like you want to save everything, you can select the artboard and you can, okay, artboard, give me all the colors there in that artboard or all the character styles that are there. So he adds everything here. And then let's see, we have an orange here for this button. Is that? Yeah, that's a button. If I want to change that, I can just right click here and add it. And I can change it to any other color. So he finds all the instances
You
where
should
that.
zoom out, see if there's.
Yeah, let me do on
That's always like
another one that.
fun.
Yeah, like this one.
Okay.
Let me hide the layer grid. So I have it here and I have it there.
Okay, the orange buttons.
The orange, I can add it and I can change to anything else. Maybe on that design, like the yellow of the post-it, maybe be a
Yeah.
bigger of that one because now we have gradients here.
Oh,
Yeah.
look what we did.
We're gonna get it. We gotta get some gradients in there some way. That's really
this to
that's the only
ourselves.
reason we want to ask that is the gradients. The gradients in there. But is that not impressive or what? Like, seriously, everybody, Vitaly, Ashley, like Franz, I think this is awesome. Like, and this is like so Illustrator. decided to, any color you add to your swatches is going to be a global color, which is awesome because like
Nice. It's kind of the same thing.
yeah, and it's like yeah, I don't know.
No,
I'm
it
into
is.
it, and I'm getting like real excited because I know what it means. It's me going
Yeah.
through and changing every single color.
it's
and
such a
have these
pain,
crazy. All these. I don't even know how many artboards you have here, by the way. I don't even know if I should ask.
Yeah.
It's
not too bad,
Yeah, it's
no.
not too bad.
Here, as part of this design, maybe like let's say I wanna get this gradient across everything here. I can select these artboards, and because I saved that gradient here, I just click, and now I have all that there.
Yeah.
And if I wanna edit that gradient, I can right click and edit and change that point. Like it finds all the instances, any updates.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you might notice is that before we had the color, the eyedropper here, and it's not there anymore. Remember it
Okay.
was here to
Yeah.
pick colors? Now it's inside the color picker, mainly for
Mm.
gradients, because now you can say, okay, this stop is gonna be like, I don't know, the yellow,
Oh, I see. So you.
and that other stop, this one would be that green, like, and you can see it changed. That's why before this was impossible.
Got it.
That's why we moved it in.
Got it. That makes sense.
And let us know what you guys think, if you want it different or.
So, Vitaly, I'm not sure what you mean by pinning gradients. Like, obviously you're making basically global gradient adjustments. Is there any way to break that link to the color
What
that
do
you
mean?
know? Like if I just wanted this first screen, that first artboard to have a different gradient.
Yeah, you just select that one and you change it here.
Yeah, so it's all naturally pinned, you could say.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm trying to interpret that question. But yeah, then you just change it, obviously, in the...
Everything here is
proper
kind of
scale.
global, like you mentioned in Illustrator, the global.
That's a good way to put it. That's all global, because you change the font, you change the colors.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes you try a
and-
font and the font is not here. You can right click and edit and find a different font or something. It will update all the instances, so you don't have to pick, oh, this one has to change, this one has
Oh
to
my
change.
gosh, I remember doing that. That's like the worst. It's like hours.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when you're like a junior designer, you're like, hello, my job is finding every instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
We get some questions about... I'm just looking at Nazar's. Any plans to have the ability to publish designs and have them like the real website? Simple. I don't know if you're talking about generating code is kind of what I'm wondering. It's like somebody else mentioned publishing it like a Muse site. Like there's always that predicament we run into is whether you have an app generating code essentially.
Yeah,
I
I think the short answer, my experience as when I was a PM here, I heard multiple times that developers don't want code. They want assets. They want information, CSS,
Yeah.
and they pick the frameworks they want. So we're really focused on the designer at this point. Of course, there's the developer handoff evolving, and I'm pretty sure that when we open up for extensibility, we'll see plugins that will create code. But I don't think it's something that we'll do as an XD team.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I'd say. It's like if you want to tick off a developer, just like give them some machine generated code essentially. Say, hey,
Yeah.
I took it 90% of the way there. Like, here, you can do the other 10%. And like, no, it's just, that'd be like give them a Muse site, like you made a site in Muse and then you could export out the HTML. Hey, you go developer, I coded this. No, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And I think
don't
too,
do that.
it's kind of future proofing too, because as we've seen, like, people are designing things for AR, for watches, for TVs, and by doing it this way, I think, and having those snippets that are more program agnostic, like code agnostic, means
That's so
that you
true.
can always just use XD for any type of screen design that you'd ever want to do.
That's so true. That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe the last things that I would mention is that as part of the 2.0 release, our release this week, we also had on Windows pen and zoom. So if you have a touchscreen, you can use your fingers to pen and zoom. You can also copy and paste from InDesign, elements from InDesign.
okay. Copy and paste from InDesign.
And on Windows, yeah, you can.
Is this out now or coming?
It's out, yeah.
Out now,
Yeah.
okay.
And the other one is you can import SVG with linked elements. So if your SVG has a path to a PNG, it works well if you bring it to XD.
Okay.
And the last thing, email notification. So in your web prototype, remember I was showing my presentation there on this one.
Oh, yeah. We'll review some contest submissions.
Cool. If someone comments here, because I'm the owner, I created this link, I'll get emails saying, a message, a comment was
Oh.
left. And if you add a comment, everything that is related to that part, to
Oh.
that comment, you get an email as well. Of
Got
course, you
it.
can opt out if you want, but
How do you
that's-
opt in and out of that? Like, where's
Uh,
or maybe that's once you get the email. Is there an opt
no, I
out
think
link?
I'll get the right link and I'll share in a second. You wanna
Mm-hmm.
talk about the contest?
Are you?
What
And,
happened there?
yeah, and maybe Ash. I don't know if you can answer this. Jim's
Yeah.
asking if you can copy and paste character styles from InDesign. Something we'd honestly have to try.
So I think,
Um,
what can you save in libraries now? Can
Yeah,
save
you can.
character
You can
styles?
do colors, character styles.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe what I can show is
that's
that
yeah, that's true.
here you can open File, open CC Libraries, and here you can bring colors and character styles that can be created from InDesign, from Illustrator, from
Mhm.
Photoshop, and bitmaps. So today you can bring this bitmap here, and it's now linked. And if you make a change to it in Photoshop, it'll change here in real time.
It'll change in your on your artboard.
Yes,
Oh.
I can
Oh,
show
man,
that.
I would
I can show that.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing too, I think Nazar has a question about comments on particular parts of the design. You can actually pin a comment and it'll have a little bubble on the, I don't know if you have that.
Oh yeah, you can pin it to like a certain
Yeah.
certain part.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
let's
screen.
do that. So here, if you wanna, this is horrible.
Change everything.
Yeah, you can pin a number there, and then it's here, and I can reply to that. I can
Mhm.
resolve this when this is solved. Hopefully, it will be solved one day, and it goes away. It's all resolved. Talking about
Do people have that link, by the way? Is that the link you sent out?
Yeah,
So they
yes.
could actually come in here and comment
Yeah.
on it, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool. They can't
It
change
is,
it,
it
but they
is.
could actually. That's kind of good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome
That's
for
kinda
presenters,
cool.
like to get feedback
Oh,
as you
man.
present. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I do my presentations
What a
in XD now.
That's a great idea. So we do have to. We're going to review some designs.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know if this might be a good stopping point. So essentially, we do have we have this theme which is all about flowers, right? So basically, link 3 artboards together. You're building out a prototype of really anything. You're adding those interactions. You've hopefully posted that link to the Bitly. That's under the contest tab, and I have one up right now on my screen. So let's take a look at it. Oh, by the way, it looks like they did they have like 10 screens here.
Oh, look at that.
Overachiever.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Love
It's
it.
like
Aw.
the greatest and sweetest. So that's what all day has been like, by the way. It's like warm
Aw.
fuzzies. It's all
This is a
warm
great
fuzzies.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's good energy. Yeah.
Hand-tied bouquets for all occasions, kind of taking you through.
Mm-hmm.
Say it with from flowers. Let's go ahead and shop. Let's sign in. Let's pick the daisies. Oh. Put in my credit card number. Play successfully. Cool.
Nice.
Let's good job. Flower blossoms. We have about 5 or 6 more. Poppies.
Nice
like
logo.
I like the logo and the colors. Very nice. Let's log in. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
it's by theme, huh? Birthday.
Oh, and let's actually. There's
Oh,
8
that's
of them.
nice.
These are all buttons. So let's click on this one. Add that to the cart. They're trying to get me to enter my credit card information. I'm like, I don't know. Thank you for interesting choice of font. I love this little logo though.
It's
I think
nice. Yeah. Vectors.
Flowers
to go.
Nice gradient there on the button.
Mm-hmm. Let's search for some flowers, some roses. Works for me. Let's go to the next screen. Let's look at the flower collections.
Let's go see some hydrangeas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Some info.
Add to
6 or 12.
'cause she's
Okay.
because she's worth it.
Is that a good
Check out.
price? Right? I hadn't. I'm
Well, it's nice
so
getting 6 because
bad
then you
at-
can get 2 and make your own bouquet. So,
I'm so
like the
bad
way
at
you
this.
think.
I like it.
I had no experience with flowers. Yet,
This one I think
sorry.
we've already shown.
Oh,
Correct me if I'm
nice.
wrong,
Aw.
but I really did like. This was highlighted earlier, but I really liked this layout.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Um,
nice, artistic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sort of these script or handwritten fonts are either really good or really bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no in between.
There's not much in between. You're either really nice like flowers or you're Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Or curls, right? Has somebody made a comic curls? Because that would be funny.
Is that possible?
Just
I don't
somebody
even
needs to
know.
do a mashup of those two fonts. Comic curls.
Well, I think that's their next challenge.
I know, right? The worst.
It
No.
happened.
That's awesome. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so we kind of deviated. Maybe I picked the wrong. I don't know what happened here,
Where's
but
this?
Is that a
either way,
store?
we'll highlight it. Toe Jam shoes. Basically, Johnny's stream was all about shoes, so that's why we're gonna kind of click through
Okay.
this.
All right.
Let's go to child shoes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like totally into shoes.
Yeah, I really like shoes.
Great photos. Looks like for some of these, you can have a little bit of scrolling action. I do like that it actually isn't like a mobile app. It's actually a larger experience. So I appreciate these screens. Awesome. Flowers are forever. Not really, though. If your forever's only about 4 days, then yeah, they're totally forever. Right? Oh, flowers are... They have this little click me. Thank you.
So is there like a different cover for?
Yeah.
I guess these flowers are forever. 'Cause
They
they are.
are. That's
That
true.
makes sense.
I like how they just used it to... It's like an art showcase.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more, and then we'll kind of get moving on to hopefully get some other tips from you guys. Find your favorite flowers. Favorite color?
Oh.
What's your favorite
This
color?
is like the
What's your
BuzzFeed quiz.
Let's go with
Let's go
purple.
purple. I'm feeling
go.
purple too, Paul.
Ah, well, let's do it. It's a
Purple.
popular.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna buy it.
I like that. It would help me a lot. I'm so bad at buying flowers. And,
You know.
like I'm something blue.
Yeah, this is totally. I hate to say it, but like this is totally like for guys. This is how we select. Not like a hydrangeas. Like I don't even know how to spell it yet alone say it. Let me just pick a color. This is like pick a color and buy. That's a good job.
That's so
Firewolf.
awesome. Yeah. That's
Oh, there's
the,
another screen. Right?
Oh, what's in profile?
Oh, that's right. I think when I click there, zoop.
Oh, okay. Can't click there yet.
News about
I assume it would be like
About
Paul's
flower.
favorite color is purple.
purple. Exactly. Which is the most indecisive color because it's basically a mix of red and blue. It's like you're picking 2 colors.
That's true. This is the indecisive color.
Yeah, it is that. Stamp Farms.
Okay. Is this a real
In
place? This
Cranston.
looks real. Yeah.
Don't call that number.
I know.
Everyone's like,
I'm like, wait, that's my house. Where's that? This is getting. What the? Who's? How do you? Your order is ready, and it's at your house, being hand delivered by someone. Let's check. Yeah, good job. Again, there's a lot of detail and stuff going on within these 5 screens, so I appreciate these people putting their hard work in and their real phone number. Let's call it up. I'm tempted to, but we don't have that kind of time.
yeah.
Let's move on. So I'll try to get these narrowed down, and we'll kind of get a manageable number to kind of pick from.
Cool.
If that works.
Yeah. Nice stuff, though.
Thank
Yeah,
you
that's
so much
awesome.
to, and just, I'm sorry, guys. Thank you so much to Creative Clarkins Pawn, Erosner, Michael Roca submitted a design as well. Studio Cadiz, actually, I think already won yesterday, and that was the one that was off topic. So even though people like might win something, they still, are submitting designs, and that's kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna show you that thing you asked about connection with Creative Cloud libraries. So if I have this guy, I just dragged it here. It's now part of this artboard, and I have some transparency. But you can see here that this guy is now linked. I don't know if you can see that green icon there saying it's
Okay.
linked. It is part of the document, so if I open this offline, it will be here. It's just that it knows it came from the library. So if I go here and I right-click and edit in Photoshop, and let's say I'll be very gross here, and as soon as I save, it's now updated here and here. So if I do,
Yep.
it's
This
all
stuff,
here.
like, I honestly feel like we just take it for granted now almost. Like, I don't know. Isn't this awesome? Like, even so, I was working with, Jessica and I were working today, and I was doing those updates, and it was updating in her Creative Cloud library. And I'm like, you see what we're not doing is we're not like, I'm not zipping
my
files
gosh.
and like emailing it to you, and it's getting stuck in your email, and I'm like, oh, we got to call like, hey, or whatever. But, so this is really cool. I think we just take it for granted.
And it's going to happen for vectors as well in the near future. So be able to do that in Illustrator, bring your icons from Illustrator.
Oh, yeah, your logo, 'cause we're working on a
Logos,
logo.
yeah, and do that. So
And then you could probably also have the opportunity to can you break the link to it?
yes, yeah. As soon as I bring that image, I can. Oh, that's a big one. I can I can click there, and it's now gone.
Ah,
It's now part of this. It's not linked anymore. Meaning that if I change it there, it will never change here.
that's cool. Nazar's asking about version control.
Version control, yeah, that's a big design pain point, and we know that we're doing a lot of work here to tackle that. It's not ready yet, but I think we'll have more news on it thanks to show and test next year. One thing you can do now, if you want, you can host your files in Creative Cloud Files,
That's what I was
and
gonna
then
say.
you'll save a couple versions there. I think it's like depends on the type of account you have. I think.
Mhm. And maybe how many gigs or
Yeah, but that's what we have now. Yeah, not
Wow.
ideal, but we're working on it. There's a whole team focused on that.
Yeah. No, that's good. Again, we're trying to tackle pain points essentially. Does this do? It doesn't do autosave. Somebody was asking.
No,
about
not
autosave
yet,
earlier.
not yet. Yeah, we have that in the backlog as well.
Okay. No, all good.
Yeah,
And
I was super curious to see like Ash is a great designer and she worked for so many companies, so she saw everything, I would say.
mhm.
And I was curious to see how you work, and we keep telling people that we use XD to design XD. Can we see a little bit of that?
Oh yeah, I mean, so I have a file pulled up here. It's just like a little piece of the UI, but just to show you like how in depth and how many decisions we have to make and all the things that we're thinking about just for like a little piece of UI. And so this is what we were calling affectionately the toast. And that's the guy you might have seen that pops up at the bottom of your window here. So here you can see like a short alert.
Oh yeah.
So the first thing we're considering, there's some universal properties, which is like, the radiuses, and this should match radiuses everywhere else in the app. You're just like spacing and everything. One of the things we're thinking about is like, how many characters can you put in this guy? And it's like, if it's too long for Twitter, it's definitely too long for here. So
Got it.
chop off a couple extras. And so, we have a max character count of like 120 on here. And honestly, we want it shorter than that, but that's to accommodate German, which we also have to think about. Not only are a lot of our users on Mac and Windows, but a lot of them are speaking other languages. So you'll see here's some nonsense German.
Oh, German's so big.
Yeah,
Everything's
it's
so
quite
long.
long. And then conversely, if it's like Asian languages, it's like this big. I was telling my friends, I was like, you can get scolded in Chinese a lot easier because everything's one syllable. But anyway, yeah. And so it's just things like the margins even on the thing here, having these colors which tie into the whole app. All the alerts use this color system. Putting a max width on this and making sure it's centered to the work canvas, but also with small screens, making sure that as this starts to scale, you'll see that it increases, which...
Oh yeah, there's a little glitch with the live stream. That part is green, and Michael's explaining that, so you see it doesn't show
Oh,
the green.
Oh wow, that's
Weird.
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
super strange.
Just believe that's a green, yeah. Pretend that's a
It's
green.
funny because it
is a
looks green now.
green.
Here we go. I'll just
Well,
do
that-
this,
that
which
actually
is like
worked.
hideous. That's so bizarre. All right, cool. Yeah, and you can see this is not in the current build, but that's going to happen, and I'll go into that in a second. So some examples. What's going on
It's the
here?
green screen.
That's kind of amazing. But yeah, you can see here where there's like all these and, rollovers, what happens with this button, with rollover and click. And so just a lot of complexities in design and edge cases you have to think about for just like a tiny thing like this. That's really funny that the green screen. I don't think there's much green in here. So there's a
Cool,
little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, so in the interim of having that toast grow, if you have a longer message, and also dealing with these like shortcut banners we have, just to give you like little tips. These are kind of like an interim stage, which is kind of funny because, you know, I think when we're developing products, we just want it to be like the thing immediately.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to like get there slowly sometimes and like release things. So, you know, this is what it looks like with Shortcut. If it has to be 2 lines, and then if it's like really long, which should never happen, but just in case, there's like an alt rollover here. So just a lot of edge cases we have to think about.
That's so cool. So cool. Like the level of detail is impressive.
Yeah, and just all the different situations you have to count for that you just don't think about, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you're dealing with different screen sizes, different languages, essentially.
Different platforms.
And you want it to look good still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, across all platforms. So, wow, that's quite an experience because you're a UI designer designing a UI app that makes UI.
It's pretty funny.
Got really deep there. I don't know. I lost myself.
It's just off. It's
What did I
it
just
is
say?
funny though
It's
because
late.
you know you'll open up. We'll be working on XD and we'll be like, oh, this button isn't working. You go to file a bug and you're like, oh, this is like a mock-up.
It's the design.
And you're like,
it's a
never
mock-up.
mind. Just like delete the bug. Just tell no one.
This is because it was just like a mock-up. That is so funny. That's
Yeah, that
awesome.
happens. Inception.
Yeah, it does. Well, this is going to be fun. We're actually going to do some giveaways. Does that work?
yes.
Oh, nice.
Because everybody's been letting it. We got to make sure and if we didn't get to your question earlier, feel free to repost it.
Yeah, and keep the questions coming.
So Jean-Eric is, asking about, iPhone X and new platforms. And that's essentially why you guys link out when you're in XD. It links out to that, whether it's the material interface page for...
Yeah, I can show you that quickly here. If you let me open that file very quickly. I have it here, UI kit. If you get the iOS 11 one, there is a version for the iPhone X there. So you can get a lot of assets there. And it's right here, so you can reuse the assets and get the dimensions and all of that for free.
No, that's cool. Love it. And then I think I've saw earlier animated GIFs, bringing those in. Can you bring in an animated GIF?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a big request as well. Videos and animated GIFs. That's planned. It's in the roadmap, and we're going to tackle that as part of I would say the prototyping evolution that will happen next year. Now that our foundation release is out, 1.0 now 2.0, you guys can expect a lot more features landing. So
Well, don't get us too excited, by the way. I think that's really exciting. I'm like, whoa.
No, but there's a lot of
But
work
you're-
being done right now.
And you're doing this also, again, for Mac and Windows.
Yes.
Trying to keep parity between the two.
And it has to work on mobile as well. Another reason sometimes things take a little longer, but we want to do it right.
I'm into it. So, all right, guys, we just want you to be active in the chat. That's how you're going to enter. In fact, we've taken it to the next level. Do you have? Did I see 2 boxes here?
I have 2, yeah.
So we'll give away 2 prizes, and we'll include socks in each one of those as well. The socks have been hugely popular. So we're going to do 2 giveaways right now. All you have to do is say something nice to Ash and Demian in the chat. No, it's just a big love fest today. We're like,
I love it.
Flowers and nice things, and that's what today is.
This is what I signed up
Or
for.
not, whatever. I don't know. It's basically I could easily be bought just by saying my hair is good. That's how sad. I'm kidding. But yes, let's just. I love your program. I'm so sad. Just like, pay us a compliment. That's essentially what I said. Say something nice to me. You're pathetic. Face it. But just let us know that you're there, because when we do say potentially your name, we want you to respond, because sure enough, we have. And we're giving this away today, shall we? Here we have, I don't know, what do you even call it? Stencils.
Stencil
Amazing
kit.
stencils, all custom with fancy icons. We obviously have windows here. Comes in a handy carrying case that also includes some wonderful pencils. Again, number 2, exclusive box with the, what color do you call that? Ash? What
This?
are we calling
Pink.
it? Okay.
Magenta
I was like, I thought it was
32 or
going to be
something, you know?
fuchsia or something weird. You're like, pink. It's pink, Paul. That's funny. All right. You get a pink box and some awesome, wonderful pencils and even a mechanical pencil and pad. Also, this pad.
And
is-
stickers and yeah, they have
and stickers and the socks, which everybody's been raving about. We're picking a name right now. Drum roll. Yeah, we have
I want the pink
oh, look at that.
one more time. Andy Akers. Andy Akers, congratulations. You win this exclusive. Only 2 in existence. Just kidding. There's more. There are. But only 2 in existence in this room. And you just won one. Andy Anchors, just say hello in the chat. Hopefully we can see your name. Lots scrolling by. And this is super cool.
There you go.
you are.
Yeah.
What up? That's what he said. What up? Andy, congratulations. You've won this very nice carrying case with all the essentials that you need to be a stellar UI UX designer, including socks. But that was only our first one because we're going to give away another one right now. So, yeah. Do me in all caps, sure. We're going to give this another one away.
The next. Oh, there we go.
Uh-huh.
No.
Notice the nice embroidered XD
Oh,
logo. And our second winner today is, wow, it is Ariana Machado. Ariana Machado.
that sounds like a Brazilian last name.
It
I don't know.
does.
Yeah,
We got a Brazilian here.
if you're Brazilian. Oi.
Yeah. Yeah. Ariana
knows that?
Machado has been with us, actually, I think, most of the day today, and I think was with us yesterday. So, Ariana, there you are. Congratulations. Also submitted a design, has been very active. So we really appreciate you,
Wonderful. Yeah,
Ariana.
Brazilian. Parabéns aí, Ariana.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was Portuguese.
All I know is obrigada.
Exactly.
That's all I
We
know.
were in Brazil like last month, right, or something?
Yeah, I'm bom dia. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Bom dia?
Yeah.
Bom dia. I can get by on the littlest amount of what I know of a language. I can stretch that so far.
But that was
A
great
good trick is just to
pronunciation.
repeat. I typically will repeat the last statement you say in another language, and it sounds like I know what you're talking about. So I repeat it, and then I
active
just laugh
listener.
like it's a joke. Hey, bom dia, blah blah. Okay, and then I laugh, and then it's like I don't know.
Oh, that's a good tactic.
That is a
yeah.
good
The only
tactic.
reason I know that is because somebody did that to me, and I just thought I was being like super hilarious. Turns out he didn't even speak English. I thought I was killing. Anyways, enough.
That's called mirroring. It's
Yes.
Mirroring.
psychological,
Active
yeah.
listening,
Wow,
yeah.
and it totally worked. I would have bought anything from the guy. He wasn't even selling anything. I would have bought it. But really cool, guys. I'm so glad you guys are here now, and this is being recorded as well. Like, because you also have been showing a ton of tips
Yeah.
too, which is really helpful. And again, this is literally a peek under the hood of how we're building this out. I will say, like at Adobe, I feel like we've been doing a better job with. Are you reading it?
Someone said I have a smooth voice.
You
They're
do have a
like-
smooth voice.
True.
Man, that's the first time I hear that.
Oh,
Cool, Mariana. Good to know that.
where's she from? I don't know if she said. The chat's been kind of cruising by pretty
It's crazy,
fast.
yeah.
This metal rollers got everyone excited.
I know, right?
They do make a nice noise when they clink together.
Do they?
It's very satisfying.
It's nice because you actually feel like you're have icons in your hand, like you're physically feeling icons.
Yeah.
Which
That's
just,
the dream,
I
right?
can make. I just made it weird. You know.
Oh my God, it's
You know how you
getting
want to like
worse.
touch icons. You know how you want to like touch them. That's the closest you can get. Yeah, I'll stop.
Oh, Mariana is from Argentina.
Okay.
Second best soccer player, Maradona,
Oh.
after Pelé, number 1. Yeah.
Oh, really? But
She's
typically
gonna-
they're
she's gonna get
rivals.
angry at
Is it
that.
Argentina and Brazil are typically rivals in soccer?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a war.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, guys. And again, we're still going to give away Creative Cloud for 1-year membership to Creative Cloud based on the design we pick, which we'll review that in a little bit.
All right.
I'm trying to think of.
I can show more here on the design if you want.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of what's one thing that you have to show before leaving this room that people should that people should know it's like people demanded symbols for a while, so we have symbols. It's like, hey, layers are there now as well. What else does anyone want to know?
What's your feature request? Let's see what people need for XD. Oh, there's one back there. Multiple drop. Yeah, we were looking at having multiple everything, like multiple grids, multiple shadows, multiple fills, and yeah, that's totally something we're looking into. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it took even Photoshop to have multiple drop shadows. They probably didn't get it in Photoshop till 3 years ago. So.
Cool.
What else we got? So you guys take a look at chat. I'm looking at the feature requests. We'll also, we are around for another 45 minutes. So if you are making a prototype for the contest, get it in. We're going to have cutoff in about at 4:30 our time. So in about 20 minutes, just because we want to give us enough time to review what people have entered. So yeah, it's about 23 minutes. Get your designs in, and not to worry, we will be back tomorrow as well. So if we happen to not review it, or you get it in later on, we'll just review it. Actually, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll try to review them all, so we definitely need to have that cutoff of 4:30. Tomorrow is going to be a different theme. So.
Oh, nice. What's the theme for tomorrow?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you can't give it away.
Flowers.
Yeah, you can't get away.
Transportation. And then from transportation to flowers, there's
I know.
nothing.
Yeah, there's no
It's going to be flower transportation. No. I don't know. 23 minutes to get the designs in. I'll be looking at those right here. We can take a look at. Oh yeah, actually, one feature request from me is radial gradients.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you can copy them from Illustrator, paste into XD, and still, if I'm not mistaken, you can still edit them.
Yeah,
but every time you place SVG on the clipboard in XD, if you paste in XD, if you even from Sketch, you can right-click on the layer, copy SVG, and it pastes well in XD. So if you can place SVG on the clipboard, you can paste into XD.
Got it.
And radial gradients is one of them.
Okay. And what were you saying about if there's a linked image? Is that what you're saying in an SVG?
Yeah, because SVG can have, when you have, for example, let's see one example here. Let's say I have this guy here. It's an image and text, right? Vector. I can select both, and then I can go to File, Export. I grouped them. I can File, Export. If I pick SVG, I can tell if that image is going to be embedded in the SVG code as base64, or it's going to be a separate PNG. And let's do it this way, and then I can export. And you see that now in that folder, I have the SVG and the, where's the image? Is that an SVG? Let me see here in brackets, open in Sublime.
Yeah,
you see images, classes, map. Images, classes, map. So this is the image. You see it's linked to this SVG. It's not part of the SVG. It's just linking here. So if you drag this, import this on Windows now into XD, the image will be there as well.
Got it.
So you will get the image as well.
Linked it. Yeah. There might be certain cases where you'd want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I know some people have asked about sort of pinning or locking parts from scrolling. So.
Yeah, that's another big one. So for all, I'm really excited to see all that feedback coming. If you go to adobeXD.uservoice.com, you can see all the feature requests that we're getting, and you can leave yours. You can vote on things here. For example, you can see the top ones, and the main one there is like fixed element. Over 3,000 people voting for it. And we're doing the work on this. It's gonna come next year. And our approach, our initial thought is we're going to allow this via scrollable areas. So we'll be able to define areas that can scroll. More like a mask, you can edit and adjust things there. And everything that's outside of that scrollable area will stay fixed.
Gotcha.
And you can even have that fab icon, for example, on top of a scrollable list, scrollable area. And that's our initial idea on that.
Oh, okay.
But again, it needs to work on the desktop, on the web, on mobile, and the dependencies are kind of the
yeah, because that was my question, is like, how would you like solve for that? Because it's probably not something.
Yeah, we don't want to. We did a lot of research, and we don't want to do just like other people did. Like you said, this is fixed. We want to do. Our approach is kind of, we're seeing it as more intuitive. You just define this. For example, let's see if I can create an example. Let's say this is, like in your repeat grid, you can repeat, and this is kind of, imagine this is a mask, and then you double click and you can adjust, and this is a scrollable area, and everything outside here will remain fixed because it's out of the scrollable area.
Yeah, and I think some of the complexity with designing this is we pretty tightly want things to feel like they're part of a cohesive system, so that when you're doing these things, it makes sense. And so even something like scrollable areas has all these dependencies. Like, how does that influence repeat grid? How does that influence mask? Are they going to feel like the same family, or should they feel different? And so there's a lot to work through with that.
Yeah, we're doing the work to get it done. Yeah,
and that kind of falls in your camp, right? Like, how do you make it different, or how do you know that that's a scrollable area? Like, what does it look like?
So one of my awesome coworkers, Alex, is working on that right now and trying to figure that all out. So
it's fascinating. What's his email?
He's deep in there. I mean, it's a miscellaneous person.
No, that's good. And again, huge. It's definitely upvoted.
Yeah. And anytime, the good thing on user voice, that anytime you vote for something, you subscribe to that feature. So if we change the status, for example, from feature in the backlog to feature started, you get an email saying that started. Sometimes we have feature needs more info, so we ask questions, and for example, here we have how many, 500 comments just on this one. So this is part of that conversation we have with people.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't know that you can change the status to like it's being worked on.
Oh yeah, the PM team updates this all the time.
That's really cool. So everybody who's interested in sort of like having content pinned essentially or whatever can.
Yeah.
You're essentially subscribing to a potential feature.
The best one for us is like when we change it to feature completed, and then you get to use it. So that's the best.
And then people could still comment on it at that point, which is kind of nice, because you're like, hey, we spent so much time on this. We hope you like it. And so that's the big thing. It's like, we put all this development, like, you better use it. You're like, because this stuff takes a lot of time, I assume, right?
It's all part of the iterative design process, right? And XD really follows that. So we're looking at things that we released all the time.
Abdel mentions the data feature from Adobe Max. That was like a couple years ago.
Yeah. For
and
now,
wasn't that like, I don't know if it was a sneak or something.
Yeah, Enaru did a great sneak on that. I think the short answer for that is that we're still working on it. We're prioritizing a couple of different things, and I can totally see that happening a lot more when we open up for extensibility, and then you guys will be able to get things out of XD and maybe later bring things back to XD and keep that connection. But we're trying to solve those bigger problems first, like scrollable areas, micro interactions, layout grid is already out, all these different things that you can see here in user voice. Plus a lot of things, for example, we're investigating a lot on collaboration and how designers can work together and all those bigger problems. So there's a lot of work, a lot of people involved, and it's just a matter of, if you guys really want that design with data up, please upvote this, and it becomes more visible to the product team, to the whole team, and then we can act on it. Any other feature requests?
And actually I was thinking of two, since you mentioned data, I was actually thinking of there was actually sneaks this year. There was Bernard that did Snuck Lincoln.
Oh yeah, that's so
that
cool.
Other data sort of part of that.
That's awesome, yeah. I cannot wait to see it.
I don't know. Like so one sneak was that. So essentially, you have like a spreadsheet looked like a spreadsheet in XD, and then Anirudh's was actually pulling from a website. If it had a div associated with it, you could suck all that content in. Both fantastic demos.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all about. He even had fake data. Because what are you doing at the end of the day? You're using somebody else, your image, like you just did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna grab my image, put it here. Can you fake data, or can you get the real data or something? Are good questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I'm compiling all the entries. Hurrying. We've had some that actually have been repeats. Yep.
So what's your? I'm curious, Ash. What's your process here as a designer? What is it like to be a designer at Adobe?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think it varies project to project because some things are quick stuff that we want to just get out quickly that are just like little improvements or feature of life. I mean, quality of life improvements, feature of life. That's my autobiography title. And so those ones are pretty quick, and those are on like a set schedule where we work directly with engineering and PMs. There are longer scale projects though where we work with research really early on and kind of study how designers are actually doing things, what they're actually trying to do, and what software they're using, how any pain points they're having, anything that they love that's going really well. And we kind of go through that journey with the researchers really closely so that we also feel and empathize with like what everyone's going through. So from there, we start to form an opinion on what a good solution is going to look like, and then we work with the whole team to kick the tires a little bit on a couple of different directions, see which one's going to be more successful, less successful, go through that a bunch of times, and then you really start hammering it on the edge cases on all of these and being like, oh, this completely breaks with this edge case that isn't actually an edge case, because lots of designers experience this and it will interrupt their daily flow forever, and they're like, all right, cross that one off the list. So there is a lot of this idea of like just throwing everything away, and you have to kind of be okay with that. In search of a better solution that feels really intuitive. And
Got it.
yeah, I love working on this team because I think everyone is very committed to doing what's right for the user and what feels good.
Yeah.
And so there's a good balance of that.
And I remember working with you and your team to get prototypes all the time, right? Like we do prototypes for pretty much every major feature, right? And we test with people before it gets to a developer, and we test it and we validate that.
Yeah, and I think it's nice. Everybody works pretty closely together, so sometimes I'll be like, is this like completely impossible to develop? I think it's possible, but let me just check. And there's all these dependencies all over the place, which is pretty funny. Yeah, this is my first time working on desktop software.
Oh, nice.
So I come from like a web app background, and then like graphic design and like visual branding and stuff before that. So it's been pretty funny to see what takes a long time on desktop versus what takes a long time on web, and vice versa. Some stuff in web it's like so easy, and then you do it on desktop and it's like, well, that's going to take a long time, but this thing that's like really hard on the web will take like 2 minutes. So it's pretty interesting to learn.
Awesome.
So looks like we have a question about like rulers, and I assume it might mean like if guides is
what I was saying is let me show this here. So initially we had square grids like this one. You can also have layout grid, but if you really want guides, we don't have guides implemented yet. It's there in the backlog as well. One thing you can do is you can draw a line and lock it. It's not ideal, but it's a workaround. And then if you design, it will snap to it.
When you okay, good. When you lock it, go. So you get all of the what's the word? All of the guides, the alignment features.
Yeah, there's another element.
Even when it's locked, do you get that stuff? We'll try to align to something that's locked.
Oh no, yeah, that's a good point. No.
Yeah, I think the reasoning why the team has weighted is because we do have all those like relative measurements from like aspect to aspect. So like if you go over any of these containers, and I think the hotkey is Alt, or is it Command on Mac?
Oh, okay.
It'll actually give you measurements of how close it is to
Yeah.
anything else,
Got
which
it.
is really handy. So
Yeah.
you can see there in the pink, it gives you the measurements, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course,
That's
you know,
a great point. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great point.
we do our best, but like I think the layers is a good case study where sometimes you just need layers or guides or
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like funny because we'll try to do it, I think, intuitively first and then see how it works.
Well, and what's funny about all of this is like there are guides in Photoshop, and I'll sometimes open up a PSD, and it has guides in there, but it's literally looks just like a layout grid. Like it looks like all of the columns that they've implemented. So it's like, well, they could just use layout features, like the layout feature we have in here.
Totally.
So that's good.
Ludwig, you need to update your XD app because the column grids are in this version of XD.
Yes, as of yesterday.
Yeah.
You
That's
can. I was gonna show like we got one question in the beginning about user testing. One thing that I was planning to show is you can start. I finished my design. I'm ready to start prototyping. I can go to prototype mode and I can start prototyping things as you saw before. And as soon as I do that, it is running here on the preview window, and it's also running on my phone. So I'm using XD on iOS. It's also available for Android. And as soon as it's here, I can finish this, that, and this goes here. You can see that I have that design here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's scrolling and everything. But as soon as I unplug the device, it's now cached, and I can do some user testing. So let's say I test this with one user and I get to artboard number 10, and I need to reset with user 2. I can then long press, and then I hit browse artboards. Then I can search for my home artboard again, and I tap there and I can reset the prototype. So I can keep doing user testing. I can watch people work on this thing and get all the research that we do all the time.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, you can't substitute for like doing it on the actual device.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that sold me really too with XD is how fast the live preview is. I think I
It's
saw a
instant,
GIF that
yeah.
somebody posted where you have your file in XD and you move an element around and you look at your phone and it's literally moving at the same time. It's so fast.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
For example, this one, you can see I change it there and it changes here. I don't know if you can see it, but
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
real time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's review some designs.
Oh, we have more?
Yeah, we do have more.
And if you guys
I'm
want to
trying
see,
to get ahead of the.
if you guys want to see XD 3.0,
Yeah, we do. But let's wait on that. Let's like review some of these things.
let's do it.
Since I think people will get really upset at me if
Yeah.
we don't show their work. Like I will not hear about it. Like I won't hear the end of
It's
it.
so nice to see all the work people do with
Yeah,
XD.
it's super fun.
All right, Priyasha Mangwana did this bloom box. So we can go in here and click. Actually, how does she do this? Are you guys seeing this little dot?
What do you mean little dot?
See, look. See? And this is
All right.
that right? Like, my,
What's going on here? Is this
I don't
embedded
know.
in here?
It's embedded.
Oh,
it's
this might
in-
be an iframe.
It's definitely like an
Something
iframe.
Is
It's
that
probably
created in
used
XD?
embed. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
But she submitted it. Hey, we'll review it.
Cool.
So Bloombox, let's log in, click. Yeah, let's go over here. And, oh, I see what she did. The whole thing is the artboard. Let's go back and scroll down. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I'm just going to refresh this real fast. But, yeah, so she actually baked this phone into the fresh flowers delivered to your door every week. That's kind of cool. And again, you log in and then sign up for what you want to sign up for, and then there's your profile. Thank you so much, Priyasha. Let's move on to this next version, which is
Oh, nice.
Market Brunch. Try
Nice,
to zoom on
different,
this.
different screen.
Yeah, a little, Apple Watch.
I buy flowers for my husband. Just saying.
You look at you argue with your Paul. We know you argue.
Well, it's already too late.
It's already
at that
too late at
point,
that
yeah.
point.
Yeah, you had to do
it's-
before.
So that's why you just need to get on the weekly subscription
See,
of the
yeah,
flowers.
there you go.
If you, like
There you
me,
go.
screw up on a weekly basis, then hey. Should we send a same address like always? How often are you screwing? Like,
Yeah.
this is funny. Thank you for your purchase. This is cool. This is actually kind of the extension of any one of these other apps that we've been reviewing.
I like it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Flower buds. Bud. Blooming for you. Let's sign in.
Oh, nice use of sliding transitions and stuff.
Choose your bud.
I guess this is push.
All right. Apparently I ordered. Somebody else is probably going to get billed. I didn't really enter in any critical
Red, blue, or
information.
yellow now this time.
Oh.
So.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Keep it simple.
Oh, I
Just,
didn't notice
just
that. Oh my
colors.
God,
just
yeah.
colors.
Yep.
But I like it. I like the interesting take on the, from a design standpoint. It's interesting. Oh, they used an asset from Photoshop. That's a free asset. Blooming Gardens.
Oh, interesting. So this is events.
Yeah. Let's go to the... Again, let's see how many screens are in this one. 3. So it's perfect. Like they meet the amount. The first one, info screen, and then going back.
I like the transitions.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Give
that.
love a chance.
Oh.
Okay, so this one actually somebody submitted earlier. We kind of reviewed it. Might be an update to it, but let's go into this Gerber Daisy. Yeah, let's order all 6. I like how they did this. These are different, screens that we're kind of switching.
Oh, like
Yeah.
they created
Yeah.
the state
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
That's pretty neat.
Nice.
Order history.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And then, let's actually go through
That's pretty
multiple. Okay, we ordered them. Add a message. So they had to do all these different screens for all the different scenarios.
Cool. Oh, that's a big
On
one.
Tuesday at that time. So all these different versions. Congrats.
21
17
artboards.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay, cool.
awesome.
Yeah, our
Nice work.
experience was
Great work,
excellent.
yeah.
Flower entry. Let's take a photo. Okay, so maybe it captures, it can sense what type
Oh,
of
I
flower
see.
it is, and then you can
Machine
order
learning.
it. And that's great because you can't just go like pulling up people's flowers.
You're like,
Here's
this
a
one.
gift. There you go. Hey, take a photo of it. We'll be able to recognize the type of photo, and then order it.
This person has expensive tastes. I like that. Just
Yeah,
roses.
You're
Love
worth it. It's because you're worth it. Ordered. You just made somebody very happy. Oh, and here it is, like en route.
Oh, that's cool.
How do they know I live there? No, just kidding. Again, creepy.
We're giving away all these addresses.
And we went over this one already, so I'll close that. This is one actually from earlier too,
Oh, nice.
but still worth showing because they put a lot of work into this.
Oh, wow, yeah.
There's lots of detail here. Let's kind of go into the occasion,
Oh, cute.
birthday. Let's get always true, and then added that to my cart, and All right, and this one we reviewed earlier.
Yes.
So I'll try to get these narrowed down, kind of while you review or show us some of your 3.0 stuff.
Cool.
And what does 3.0 mean? Because right now
Actually,
we're
it's
at,
just
like,
a
one-
label again. We call it December release for
Okay.
3.0. And before we got to 1.0 in October, we were releasing every month, almost every month. We just skipped a couple months by I think just 1 or 2. And it took us 17 iterations to get to 1.0.
Wow.
And we made it. But again, it's for us, it's just a label. We're going to keep iterating on it, and we try to deliver more features every month. And this one specifically for October was one of my favorites because the layout grid, export to JPEG, and design specs. Design specs is something so big. I don't know, like for people that tuned in later, let's just go through that very quickly before I show 3.0. So design specs, let's say I have this high fidelity prototype and I finish my prototype, I set this as my home artboard, then I can go to share online right there, publish design specs, create public link. So now it uploads all these assets. Just remember to keep to set this as the home artboard. And I can copy this link, go to my browser, paste, and I'll have access to design specs. Oh, not again. To sign in again.
Oh yeah, we can switch to my screen. I do want to point out one thing. If we could switch to mine, just because we might miss some things, but thank you so much for Nicole. Yours does scroll down. I take it this is yours, and there's more content, and real content, not just like gibberish like I would probably put in.
We're good.
So thank you for that.
Cool. So this is the link. Now it was super quick to upload, and I have, if I hover here, I see where things are connected. I can zoom in and out. So this is a link for developers to extract assets. Then I can go, let's say, to this one, and now I can see all the colors that are here, where they are, all the text that's here, where they are. I can hover and see that happening. And if I click on something, I can get measurements. I can even do like a big zoom in here to, let's say, 150, even 200. And as a developer, I can inspect this. I can even copy the text that's there, copy the color, copy the text, change the color type there, or the measurement for the color, or for here pixel, because it's iOS, it's points. We can also get pixel information. And some things that will be added to this later is asset extraction and CSS information.
Yeah, that's some good intel right there, by the way, because I would assume that, but yeah.
The developer in me wants to give you a hug for that. Yeah, awesome.
3 hugs, so.
Cool, so
Very
XD
cool.
3.0. So I have a version of it here. And let's see a couple of things that are there. So let me start with a new file. And the first one is, let's add some text here. And I'll say, let's do this bold training. Give me something that's kind of plays.
Travis, you can take a peek. Travis wants to take a look. You can just come over here. Just come over. It's gonna be easier for you. You can get on screen. It's okay.
Just a fan.
We got a fan. We got fans in
go
here.
log in, watch the stream from the couch.
Okay, either way.
So let me get a nice font here very quickly to explain this.
Jessica, I know you wanna take a peek at this too. I don't know if you're watching the stream.
Cool. So maybe one of the biggest ones that we have that's coming is, let me type it here so you can see what I want to talk about. Underline for text. And you can see there's a lot of people there asking for it. And it's finally landing. So it's not just like a line underneath the text. We took the time to make it the right way. So you can select the text and you can click there on underline.
Mhm.
And as you can see here, it's really
Pretty
like the
intelligent
descendants are really the descenders. Yeah, it's really it's really there, and we're doing the work to make it nice. And it works on mobile and it works on the web. So that's one of the biggest ones. Another one that we have there is, let's see, I'll draw a circle here and I'll make a big, and you can see here that now my stroke is inside stroke, right? But you can change that. Yeah, we'll be able to change that in December.
Nice. I know we had CCU here yesterday at this time. She's going to be here tomorrow. One thing she did ask, and maybe somebody's asking this now, is rounding the corners on a stroke. Rounding the end caps.
That's also in the backlog, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is
You
perfect.
can bring those things from Illustrator if you want and paste here.
Okay.
Our approach is, especially the way I see it personally, is XD is like this hub for UX design. And if you really need complex bitmap editing, you go to Photoshop and then use CC libraries to bring that content and keep that linked. Same for Illustrator. If you really need complex vectors or that level of detail for strokes, you go to Illustrator.
Yeah.
And then you bring that to XD. So that's the idea. XD is not trying to replace Photoshop or Illustrator.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, because like, are you essentially like rebuilding Illustrator?
Yeah.
And that's not really the goal, right? I mean, what do you know? Yeah.
And with if you combine Photoshop and Illustrator to the mix, like it has everything, right? It has all the features that a designer can ask for.
Exactly.
Awesome. Then the next one is zoom in prototype mode. So if you go to prototype mode, let me create two artboards. And in prototype now you can have the zoom tool there, so you can zoom in and out like as you expect. You can zoom out just like you do normally with any other app. Another thing that we have here is the ability to, if you have CC libraries, you can right click here and edit right from here. So instead of going to Photoshop, opening the library, seeing where the asset is, you can click here directly and it opens that in Photoshop. So if I change this and save, it already updates here. So from that panel you can do it.
Now is that a what about PSDs in there? Something with layers?
Yeah, you can. If you have in your library a group with multiple layers in your library, then you'll be the same thing. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that knows too if it's an Illustrator file versus a Photoshop
Yes,
file, and so it'll
yes.
automatically open the right app.
You'll be also able to license from XD. So if you have something from Adobe stock, you can right click on this panel and license it right from it. And you can also do some more things to publish prototypes. For example, you can set it to start in full screen mode as you publish it, and you can show and hide hotspot hints. So when you publish your prototype, let's say you want to do user testing, you don't want to influence where users see like it's clickable or not. So you can set this and maybe uncheck so it's more realistic for user testing.
Yeah, I like that.
So those are some of the things that we have for December. I think the biggest one for me is underline. We get this question all the time. But again, you can see the senders there, and it's really
that's good.
operating the right way. That's why.
And I mean, again, for all different types of fonts, I don't even know how you do this, but essentially it I think when people say, hey, can you throw an underline under that? Sounds really easy when you don't take into account like this level of complexity.
Yes.
Like, for the descenders, for different fonts and all that fun stuff. So good call.
Awesome.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these designs and get them narrowed down, shall we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Lots of good submissions.
Yeah. So essentially, we'll start with this one. I don't know if we reviewed this one, did we?
This is new to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Seen lots of flowers today, is all I'm saying. No offense. But I like this. Gardenism. It's time to plant. Okay. This is awesome.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
So it's like local to you and time of year. This is awesome.
Yeah. Again, let's go through. You chose tulips. Seed depth, everything. Again, I'm just apparently the whole screen is clickable, so that's kind of what's happening. It says
it
buy
takes it to
them
the
from
airport,
these places. Oh, one place is pretty close. You can also get them online, and that's great. It's kind
Cool.
of clicking through. Really like this concept.
Yeah.
Like from a concept standpoint, it's good.
Awesome.
So, and maybe what we do is we kind of pick. What I've done is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try to get these down to at least 1 or 2. Can we do that? And I hate doing that, but I've already kind of done a lot of work in narrowing this down. This one has 20.
Yeah, I really like the execution on that one.
Yeah.
That first artboard is really nice.
This first one?
The one that was open. That one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and they spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, on the states and everything.
Yeah, so, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and all the transitions are in, which is nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I would use layout grid to kind of create better margins there a little bit. Make
Okay.
that text on the button a little bit bigger, but that first screen really looks nice to me.
But and this was like all the different versions that they took the time of going in and doing. So really strong. We also have this one.
Oh, is that a video? Or
No,
you
that's
you are
me.
interacting with it?
Like
I
I
think some people
don't.
were saying it was a video.
I'm
But I was
intrigued
like,
now.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know how you turn on this little dot because that's not possible in XD from what I understand.
Let me try
I don't
one.
know what's happening exactly. But we'll work it out. Either way, this one is in the mix. Let's go to this was nice, seeing something different. Saying, hey, you know, did you argue with right? Oh, how did you know? Watch. Let's just go ahead and
they're all listening all the time. That's fine.
yeah, they're like problems again, huh? You just need to get on a schedule. But I like the execution of being something different. And then this one had lots of screens, but you take a photo, deliver it to your door,
Interesting interaction. Yep.
go with the roses. It almost feels like two separate apps, to be honest with you. Like these screens feel different than these screens. Is it just me? Or
No,
not?
I feel you.
Oh, look at that.
There's a
These
cutout
just-
thing. There's this whole editing flow.
I
Oh,
like it.
look
So
at
I must have
that.
missed that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know where that is, but either
I
way.
think there is a camera somewhere.
Yeah. It seems like they turned off that, like this whole screen is clickable.
I think there's more.
Oh, 5 new ones. Holy moly. All right, so those are all these screens. We can get those narrowed down. Sounds like this one is pretty strong. But you guys
Yeah.
liked this one.
I like that.
I forget.
Stronger than this one. This one was nice. I liked it. Was again pretty consistent. And search for flowers. You get rose.
This person does no flowers.
Yeah. So, all right. And then there's that one, which is just good. So I'm not going to show that spreadsheet, but if we could switch to just our shiny faces or someone else's screen. Ooh, what is this?
No, I was trying to add it to Behance like that, but I cannot. Sorry to say that, but that thing
Oh.
is probably not done in XD.
Okay, there we go. That's all we need to know. That's why it's throwing us for a loop.
Cool.
Throwing us for a
I was
loop.
thinking it was an embeddable. That's how they did it, but
Yeah, I did embed it here as well, and I didn't get the. If I'm wrong, please let me know
Yeah.
what I had to do to see
tell us
that.
everything.
Yeah.
Mhm. Just opening up. You guys have any questions? We are monitoring the chat.
What's your favorite feature in XD, Ash?
My favorite feature. I mean, I think the color changing thing in the assets, it's always my favorite. I mean, even though of course you use it once in a while, but just anything again with like retroactive consistency where you're like, oh, actually I wanted to do this thing, and like by the time you finish, you're like, oh god, it's gonna be so much work. It also reminds me of that humanity GIF. Have you seen that one?
No.
It's just this like manatee that changes like into rainbow colors. I'll send it to you. But like,
Oh, I want to see it.
yeah, it's just like this part is like so funny.
I'm trying to talking about the asset pen. I'm changing the colors back to yellow.
It's okay, that's OG. I think that's one of my favorites. I mean, I'm really excited about layout grid. I'm like,
Yeah, me
that's
too.
a huge one.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course that's just step one of many things we're gonna do with that. So if that interested you,
That's so
there's gonna
true.
be
Yeah.
A lot that's like the foundation for. So
Yeah. You can do your website design, your mobile website design, all in one canvas, and have multiple grids for different sizes, and it helps you stay within the grid. And those are like little tricks from designers. Right? Like layout grids is kind of, you're cheating, right? Because you have this thing that makes everything look prettier and more organized.
yeah,
right?
and more consistent. I
Yeah.
think. It's like page to page, even though you're changing your elements.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this still feels like the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think those
Yeah.
are my two top right now.
Awesome.
All right, we have some more designs to review, some more prototypes. So
Who's the
yes.
genius behind the repeat grade feature?
Who is this?
I would say Anirudh is one of the main ones. NJ, Tom Kurcha. Talent for
Yeah,
sure.
talent for
Yeah, I
sure.
think the creators of XD, they were the 4 people that
Yeah.
started XD, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
That's
guys.
good.
Yeah,
That's
that
good.
feature is just amazing.
All right, we're going through the
Okay.
seed exchange.
Exchange.
You now remember the seed exchange.
Okay.
So you can browse. Let's browse some seeds.
This is like seed Pokemon. I love
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Let's add the heirloom pumpkin seeds. Sounds great. Got those added. And yeah, multiple screens. See what's happening there. Let's go down to this last little one right here. And let's just click through these screens. So yeah, you can exchange seeds. That's cool.
Nice
And
idea.
good use, like exploring XD in all of its glory, because look, like we have that drop shadow. That's like a white drop shadow.
Background blur. Yeah.
Background blur, like really exploring all of it. So hey,
Yeah, that's true.
hats off to you. Let's get some flowers. I like that. Let's get some flowers.
I feel like I
Let's
need
get
to
these
buy
flowers.
flowers for my wife, to my wife today.
Right? Oh, we did a search for orchids. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entering in delivery date, the total. So let's just try to click on something and see what highlights. That's the last screen. So I really like the transitions in this. Felt super natural, by the way. As in really natural, not magical.
Nice, yeah, nice.
You know, feels pretty
execution,
good. I like that. I think that's a push. I don't know.
Yeah, push.
And that gets a little off there, but still, good job. Let's go to bloom.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, fresh flowers. Yeah, let's get some of these fresh. Is this right? Yes. Yep. Sent. That easy.
Super easy.
Super easy. I think I might have skipped some screens. So there is also one for the, access to your
Click on any of
profile.
these.
Yeah. There we go. Nice. And then, is this right for the address? Yep.
Mhm.
You get the idea.
Cool.
Send flowers. Let's send some flowers. Send some roses. Hey, they're worth it. Darn right, we're going to buy those. Not enough time, thank you. Okay, select a flower. Buy it. Not enough time. That's
very
that's kind of,
philosophical.
I know, seen as is very philosophical and really appropriate for the current time we're at right now, seen as we're at the end of the day. But I like it. Good design. It's working, and I think I know we already reviewed this one earlier today, but since it was on the list, kind of go through. Loving that gradient, but you have this one. I like that.
Peaky.
And I like that font too. And this was kind of this is our winner from earlier. So let's kind of get this ironed out. I'm making some executive decisions.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
All right, we're like down to 3. I could always check I feel like checking I don't know if there are any more. I think the Adobe Live team is giving me the thumbs up, so that's good. Awesome. So this is good. Our Adobe Live team consists of about like 63 people that are working away that also verify that making sure everybody is legit to win 1 year of Creative Cloud, and we have it down to these 3. So if you guys can help me, that'd be great.
I think I like the last tab. I think that one's probably my favorite.
Yeah? You guys are feeling the last tab. It is probably the one with the most screens, 21. And they went through multiple scenarios.
Yeah,
In fact, I'll just expand this
That's
out.
my vote too.
All right, you guys are easy. I would happily, look at this. Hey, look at all these different iterations that it has. So, go into the profile, order history, which I love this screen too.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
3D, like,
It's very spatial, which
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, I like that message. Right down there. You're doing great. Well, I think so. Yeah, is this our vote? Is this what we're feeling? team?
I think so.
I think we're feeling it. We're going to go ahead and call it. We will dig up your name. I won't reveal it right now, but Flower Delivery, the flower delivery app. It's basically saying, hey, give love a chance, and we are giving you Creative Cloud for a year, flower delivery app. And a big shout out to everybody. I'm curious if anybody in the chat, if it's your first time using Adobe XD, like just this week. That's what I'd like to know. If it's your first time, I would really love to know if it's your first time using Adobe XD and you like submitted something. Would be really just cool to see, because that's like all we're asking.
And again, like if you have questions or feedback, you can go to uservoice.com. Leave any suggestions there. If you use Twitter and if you use hashtag Adobe XD, the whole XD team here in San Francisco sees it and everyone interacts with you. We have an AMA on Designer News next week, so you can ask any question, and there's a lot that you can do to interact with us even more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's awesome. And again, you have people monitoring feedback and everything, so it's good that you guys are like actively involved. And what do you do? Oh, I see multiple symbols.
Yeah, I was doing like trying to do like a flower or something.
It's like a kelp field.
Yeah, I can do like.
It's very relaxing. Do you do this when you're stressed, Demian?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ludwig. Second time using it. I used it once, and that's what you want, like, because people might have looked at it like a year ago, and then it's interesting for them checking it out today. So, pretty much your first experience from Garrett Johns. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really good to see.
Awesome, guys.
Oh, Melissa, first time, and I was featured in Behance.
Nice.
Look at you go. Man, that's awesome. So 2 minutes left. Again, congratulations. We'll contact you, the winner of 1 year of Creative Cloud. Thank you so much for bringing gifts. You come bearing gifts. Not only these physical gifts, but I feel like you shared a lot with us. Like I feel like totally like up to speed on everything, and I was still like, I wanted to clap, but it gets really loud since the mic's right here. So I do. I'm like, this is so cool. And then it's cool when you see this cool stuff and you're like, I want this in other apps. Like when we see these global color changes, for instance, like I want that I see repeat grid and I want it other places. And that's like the kind of what you want to hear. It kind of shows that you're on the right track.
Yeah. And you guys are a big part of it, right? Like the community is really helping us build XD. So let's do it together.
Yep.
Yeah. Any closing remarks? I don't know if you just...
No,
can we find you two on social media? On the interwebs out there?
Any questions? My Twitter handle is my first and last name, Demian Borba.
Yeah. Ash Smash.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And by the way, I don't know. I'd probably want to scroll through your Twitter feed to see those slides that you showed earlier. Which was cool.
It's right there
as well.
And the files are there. You can download the files. You can use the assets, everything.
And you can even watch this recording again. This is going to be on YouTube, as well as Ash's, Adobe Max experience as well, which is kind of fun to watch you on the big stage doing quite well, like you're an old pro. So, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Thanks for having us, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Felicia, Tim, Annette, Thomas, everyone, join us. Yes, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we have Travis Nelson and a full day of UX, UI, fun designing based on another theme. So thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you. Bye guys.